Welcome back to Flashpoint. A busy week in the North Carolina General Assembly. Lawmakers taking steps to override several of the governor's vetoes, among them a wide-ranging bill that would increase penalties for folks who commit violent crimes while wearing masks. But Republicans tacked on a totally unrelated provision. It deals with a change to campaign finance laws, and critics say it blurs the line between super PACs and state political parties. Joining us now is Ann Webb. She is the policy director of Common Cause North Carolina. Ann, welcome to Flashpoint.
Thanks so much, Ben.
All right, I want to start with this new campaign finance provision of this bill that's likely to become law. Republicans say they're trying to level the playing field by making it easier for super PAC money to go into state Republican Party coffers. Why, in your view, is this not a good thing?
You know, I'm glad you raised that. You know, some politicians are saying that this policy levels the playing field between Democrats and Republicans. And frankly, we at Common Cause are calling a foul because neither party should be hiding and allowing mega donors to pay to play. I really think that the focus on partisan motivations here can obscure how these changes are flatly unnecessary. There's really no reason to create these kinds of exemptions for federal political action committees and 527s. These changes do nothing to address existing problems with secret spending in North Carolina elections.
So the House Speaker, Tim Moore, he will tell you that the rules right now as they are favor Democrats and the way they handle their money from super PACs, essentially separating corporation and labor union money from individual donations, which can be easily transferred to the state party. Does this then level that playing field, as the Speaker would argue?
You know, what this does is it just makes it easier for secret money to come into the state. And frankly, from a nonpartisan perspective, from the perspective of voters, I think what's really important for folks to understand is that all parties are bringing in secret money. It's just how our politics work, and it's not how it should work. We shouldn't have ultra wealthy donors sending unlimited cash to our state and influencing our elections. And we could quibble back and forth between the parties about who is making more money or getting more money into the state based on how the laws are written and how they've structured their political committees. But I really think what's most important for folks to understand is that this is robbing the people of our right to know who's trying to manipulate our elections.
So walk this out for me. Like, what's the benefit? If a super PAC can spend inordinate amount of money anyway on a certain candidate, or what's the benefit, devil's advocate here, of getting it into the political party in the first place?
Well, you know, I think we have to look at what the goal is, right? It seems like part of the goal is to get individual donors money, unlimited donations to the campaigns as easily as possible without those donors being revealed. And, you know, I think we can speculate about what the goals are here. We've heard a lot of speculation about whether that's, you know, to help individual donors who might want to give to a certain candidate who is very controversial, do that in a way that doesn't reveal their donation. And I think that's an open question. But another thing we know is that there's some basic math here, right? It's cheaper for campaigns to get advertising space on TV and radio. And so getting those big dollars straight through to the candidate campaigns is a more cost-effective way to run ads in our elections.
And then just real quickly, how much money are we talking about? I mean, is there any limit?
No, I mean, we're talking about millions and millions of dollars. This is one of the most competitive gubernatorial races in the country. We are seeing enormous interest in North Carolina's governor's race this year, and we already know that millions of dollars are flowing in, and we can assume that what will happen as this bill goes into effect is that more and more money will flow in, and it will be virtually impossible for us to know whose money that is, at least not until well after the election. And I really think that's something that folks need to know, is that part of what this bill does, besides just making it easier to send money into the state, is it makes it much easier for those campaigns to avoid scrutiny. And it lifts a bunch of requirements under North Carolina law to tell the state who's bringing the money in and to make reports on a regular basis. And by removing those really very reasonable oversight rules, what we're going to have is we're going to have just enormous amounts of secret dark money flowing in. And we may not know until well into 2025 what was put in those reports that were made to the federal agencies that oversee those committees.
Looks like a number of constitutional amendments might go for voters. One of them would state that non-citizens are not allowed to vote. Now, Ann, you are well aware, non-citizens are not allowed to vote as it stands. So help us out here. Why are we making an amendment about it?
That is a great question, and I couldn't agree more. The law already is very clear. It's been clear for a very long time that only citizens are permitted to vote, and it's already illegal in North Carolina for non-citizens to even attempt to register to vote. It's also a federal crime for non-citizens to vote. So we have very clear laws preventing non-citizen voting. And we also have seen no effort in North Carolina to allow non-citizens to vote in local elections, as has happened in a couple of other states. And it's really virtually impossible for that to happen in North Carolina without the legislature's approval. And so I think we have to assume that this constitutional amendment is designed to push forward a really harmful narrative about immigrants in our country and frankly, a conspiracy theory that there are non-citizens voting in our elections. And we've seen that promoted in this election cycle. And it's really disheartening to see that this conspiracy theory is being sort of used as a political football in our state's elections as well.
All right. Ann Webb, listen, thanks for coming on. We do appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Ben.
Up next right here on Flashpoint, North Carolina lawmakers pushing new rules to help keep guns out of the wrong hands.